welcome to another episode of Can We Talk? We're down here in southern Minnesota in beautiful Owatonna on this bright yet chilly day here in Minnesota. Today with me, I have Holly Munch. She is one of our brain trainers here. She is also a faculty member with me at South Central College, and she teaches in the biology department with mainly pre-nursing and nursing students. That's a good chunk of who's taking her classes. And so we're going to talk a little bit about cognitive skills and where they come into play in something specific like a biology anatomy type of class. So tell us a little bit about what the anatomy class kind of consists of.
Okay, so anatomy is a very short and long-term memory intensive class because we learn the structures of all the systems of the body. We start with the skeletal system, the bones, and not just the names of the bones, but the details of the bones. And then we go on to muscles, nerves, the nervous system, the cardiovascular, respiratory, digestive, urinary, reproductive systems, all of that, all in one semester.
So just to give people an idea, like how many bones are there in the human body?
206.
So they are learning not only just the names and where they're at of 206 bones, they're also learning the structures of those bones.
Yes. There's holes, there's bumps, there's knobs, there's notches, there's smooth surfaces and rough surfaces, and everyone has a name.
Yep, and then they also learn about some of the muscles, not all of them, because you said
Right.
earlier there's quite a few muscles in the body.
Right, there's over 600 muscles. We don't learn all of those, but a good 100 or so.
And then in addition to nerves and all that kind of stuff that connect with that. So right there you have just tons of terms or chunks that you have to be able to learn and be able to recall over and over and over and over. So that long-term memory, and the expectation is that long-term memory needs to last them into the nursing program.
Yes.
And beyond. You want your nurse to understand anatomy.
Yes, and the advantage is that a lot of the terminology builds up on itself. So there are anatomical names for a lot of the regions of the body, and so you'll have a bone, a muscle, a nerve, an artery, and a vein, all with similar names based on where in the body that they're located. So that helps them and reinforces.
At least knowing that all those go together.
Yes.
And be able to say that. So what's another? So long-term memory and short-term memory, obviously super important. Is there any other one that you see that really a lot of students are struggling with?
Yes. So we have a lot in our written materials. We have a lot of diagrams that are labeled. And yet in our lab, we use 3D models that are not labeled. So many students assume that if I'm looking at the diagram and it's labeled, that all I have to do is basically memorize this diagram and the parts to it. And I need to keep reminding them that yes, the diagram is helpful, but you really need to handle the models and turn them around in your hands and see what they look like in 3 dimensions, because those structures look really different in 3D than they do on a flat piece of paper.
And so really their visual processing and able to take that and create a picture and understand how it looks in a 3D type of situation. And I can definitely see where if someone is, it's basically taking a flat piece of paper and then making it into like this puzzle that they have to be able to transfer it in. And it's just not the same if you took a 3-dimensional puzzle and put it on a flat sheet of paper, being able to just take that and put it back together. So, interesting. And is there anything else as far as things that you would suggest or that could help prepare a student for a class like that? Because we have a lot of people that go into a science field, or lots of people that are going into nursing. So they for sure want to make sure that they have strong memory, long-term and short-term, and visual processing. Any other tips or something that you have for them to be successful in a course like that? Because that is a challenging. It is one of the more challenging courses in an undergrad program.
For sure. It's very technical and really memorization heavy. One of the struggles that many of my students have is that they do okay with memorizing a list of terms or a list of definitions, but they really struggle with making that meaningful to apply it to a problem or a scenario. Just kind of like with math, with word problems. We always struggled with word problems because we have to be able to pull out the equation from the words of what that actually is asking for. So that's a real struggle.
It's a little, some of that logic and reasoning,
Yes.
critical thinking kind of stuff.
Yes.
Okay, well, just wanted to share with you, since a lot of what we talk about is a little more general or seems to be geared towards kind of younger children and maybe learning struggles in that K-12 realm, on how cognitive skills follow you and are important throughout, and things that from a certain discipline, which one might be more important than maybe in early childhood. There's some that I would pick differently than what anatomy might need, understanding that the stronger all of them are, the better they're going to do. So if you have a child that's interested or thinking about going to college for anything in the biology field, but especially maybe some sort of nursing or medical degree, and want to kind of see how well prepared they might be, give us a call, have a cognitive assessment done. We can certainly see where they're at in the cognitive skills, looking specifically a little heavily at the long-term, short-term memory and visual processing, and give you some suggestions, or see if they might need a little help before they get to college and realize, wow, this is way different than just studying from a book and regurgitating information, that I actually have to be able to not only visualize it, but then also problem solve and visualize, and be remembering everything that I've learned and pulling it all together.
Another part of the skill set that I think relates to what we do here at Learning RX is processing speed, because someone who is in nursing or any kind of medical field, they need to be able to apply their knowledge pretty quickly. They have to be able to just draw from what they know and act on it really quickly. So I think processing speed is definitely something that will help as well.
Particularly if you're in some sort of ICU, ER nurse, something that deals with emergency situations, then you absolutely have to be able to make decisions quick on your feet and problem solve effectively quick on your feet and all those kind of things. So that is absolutely true. And I know one thing Holly has said to me is, in the pre-nursing part, anatomy is the hardest class they will probably take, but as part of their entire nursing program, it's one of the easiest classes they will take.
Right.
So just to give you that kind of like what would be coming down the road is, if they really, 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 really are going to struggle in anatomy, when they get into the nursing part or the medical part of their program, it's not going to get any easier. So,
so they really should come into anatomy as a pre-nursing student with a really good solid foundation in sciences and hopefully math too, just for the critical thinking skills.
Yep. So if your child has an interest in science, and maybe you've noticed as they've gotten older, they've just had to work harder and harder and harder to be able to do better in a science class, that could be a sign that they're struggling with some cognitive skills. And because it's only going to keep getting harder and harder, and we'd be happy to visit with you and give you some information so that your child is prepared to get out there. Or if your child's already in college and struggling, give us a call, and we'll see, do an assessment and sit down and listen to what the needs are and see how we can help. So thanks a lot for coming in today with me, Holly.
Thanks for inviting me, Darcy.
Hopefully we'll have you back on again, and you guys all have a good day. Peace.